I always have the problem with the shoulders. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it again. Do it again. Yeah, just thinking if the mic can pick it up.
It's, I don't know where it comes from, but I guess it's from wearing a bag and sitting
yeah. So
school in university, and you just have this small space. You tense the shoulders.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I used to wear a backpack like this. You know, like always over one shoulder. And if you wore over two shoulders, you weren't cool, right? So it was always like this. I was full of heavy books, always doing this. So what that did is, it led to this shoulder always being permanently like that. Yeah. And it took many years to actually unlearn that position and to relax it and to feel it so that it became neutral, like this one was. But because this one was neutral, I knew that this was something wrong. Yeah. It was very obvious because one was like this, right? It was always like that. So yeah, when you're growing as a teenager and you do these things like carry around too heavy bags and sitting too much, it can change people's posture for the worst. Yeah. So the first thing you need to do is learn to build up the strength of your spine and the length, the proper alignment of your spine before you fix the what's called the so there's the axial skeleton and then there's the articulatory skeleton, which is fancy words that mean there's the spine and then there's the things that hang off it, right? The limbs.
Okay.
Right. So your shoulder is part of your limb. It's not part of your body, okay. Right? It's so the clavicle and the scapula is part of your arm.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like stuck on to your ribs and your spine.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to fix the ribs and the spine so they're all in a good position. Yeah. That's the first thing to fix, because some people say you got a bad spine posture like this, and then they start trying to fix their shoulders, yeah. Right? But their shoulders are rolled forward because their spine is rolled forward, right? But if you fix this, maybe, and you relax this, maybe it will just hang better. So that's my first thought.
Should I bring the shoulders back or forward?
Well, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Like people, when they go to that thing, which is should I move it back or forward, they're not fixing their spine. Okay. So a lot of the problem of why this is that is because you've got a slight postural problem and it's rolling forward, right? So I'll do an exaggerated version. If I'm like this, can you see how everything kind of is falling forward with gravity?
Yeah.
So then my spine's going to go like that. My shoulders are going to roll forward. So then when I go like this, you try to straighten up a little bit and it's still kind of bad posture. And then I go, oh, my shoulders are still rolled forward. I better pull them back, right? So all you've done is just added another bad compensation is what it's called, right? So you're compensating for a bad posture, right? So the best thing you can do is just relax this area while working on that. Don't think of moving it around, right? Think about the best way to learn how to move with the shoulder is to improve your spine, the posture of your spine, and do Siu Nim Tau. Because when you're doing Siu Nim Tau, you're moving this area around all the time. Okay. Right? We can talk about that with shoulder-girdle power later, right? Okay. So you're learning how to move the shoulder around on your rib cage and your spine. Okay. Does that make sense? So you shouldn't be trying to move things around on purpose and hold it there. It's not the right thing. It's just like with this, where if you tilt it and you hold it there with muscle, it creates tension there. Of course, right? Obvious. So same thing here. If you go like this and go, oh, it's forward, I need to do that and hold it with muscle, it's going to become tense, right?
Okay, that's because that's how we learn it in Wing Chun. It's always say your fists have to be on this high. You have to.
It depends on the
to see it.
Okay.
Bring it back and with the.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Is it the further back the better? Is that the idea? Should it be?
They say it's better for the back muscles.
Yeah, it's not.
But I think it's better when you have it like this.
Okay. Let me fix it. So
I have no tension in my shoulders, but when I push it back.
Okay. Let me show you where I think it should be.
I have tensions.
Sure. So let me show you where I think it should be, and then we'll explain why. Right. So it should be. So just stand up straight. Yeah. It should be like that. Okay. So your wrist is in line with your body, not your knuckles.
Ah, okay.
Like this, and this rotates like that.
Yeah.
And the forearm is sloped up slightly, right?
Yeah.
It's not down like you were doing just there, right?
Okay.
So it slopes like this, and then it kind of hangs. You can kind of hang this off your elbow there like that. Yeah. So does it feel relaxed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be like that. So show with both sides. Yeah. So it should just be like that. So think of your wrist, the end of your wrist as being in line with your body, and your
Okay.
hands are sticking forward like that. Yeah,
Okay.
and make sure it's slightly above, the wrist is slightly above the elbow.
Okay.
Okay, and then you've got to find, because everybody's a little bit different, you need to find exactly where that is for you, right? But that should be the position.
Yeah, because we were taught.
Yeah,
the
but
knuckles, to be in line. And
but why?
when-
Why?
And when you do it, why? Yeah, the
So
explanation
it helps
is-
your back,
it's-
right?
It's should be better for the back muscles.
Yeah, but
It's explanation, but when I do it like this over years, and very often I have tension in the shoulder.
yeah, it's a mistake in my opinion, right? So it's, I think often the thinking comes, which is that thinking I think just goes to like it's good for it to be back. How about back? As far as I can get it, and then I get to, well, that's kind of in line with that. I think the thinking is as simple as that, really,
Okay.
which is that you look at it from the side and everything's aligned, and that kind of somehow intuitively feels good to people, right?
Okay.
So not really thinking much beyond that. Really, what you want to do is have it so that this area can be relaxed. That is very important, and the hands are in this kind of get ready position, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like, karate and stuff where they have things down here, right? This is kind of like the Wing Chun version.
Okay.
And by having it slightly up like that, it can kind of counterbalance the structure, because this is going slightly back, this is like that, and because it's going up, you can really relax into it. And another way of doing is if you open up your hands, they should be parallel to the ground or the ceiling,
Yeah.
right? So they shouldn't be pointing down, they shouldn't be pointing up, and then you just close them again. Yeah. So does that feel nice and relaxed?
Yeah.
Good. So that should solve that shoulder problem you're having.
Yeah.
But remember, the most important thing is to fix your spine at the same time, right?
Okay.
So if there's any sort of slight curve in your spine, that's that kind of slack, I call it slackening, right? Where your spine is, it's kind of collapsed, right? So you want to make sure everything's nice and upright. And then if everything's upright, then you can hang the limbs off your body properly. Okay?